Alright, what does that make out of this? Floating city cathode. Colony ship figure. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, we just have the 2 on this one. Wow, this is the model of the Soleil. Looks pretty realistic. You're right, there's a lot of detail. Sarly, do you have a model building hobby? Be very careful when you handle that, you two. Don't worry, we won't break it. I'd hope so. If that broke, we'd all out in space. Here we go again. Sarly's talking about big disasters. Anyway, let's move away from it a little bit. So, what was this? If this breaks, we'd end all up in space? Yes, we would. Not just us, but every living thing on the Soleil, too. Hey, Cass, could this model Soleil be... You were thinking the same thing? I was kind of doubtful, but if we do something to this model Soleil, does the same thing happen in reality? Exactly. Good job figuring it out. You look like you don't believe me. Well, you know, it sounds like something from a fairy tale. How could I believe it? Yeah, I can't believe it either. I see. I suppose that's expected. This thing just looks like an ordinary model. There's no way it could... Oh, no! Delta, did you just poke the model? Huh? Is this an earthquake? That's impossible! We're on the Soleil right now! It's because Delta poked the model. No way. It's got to be a coincidence. Delta, I got a really bad feeling right now. My nose is itchy. Achoo! What's with this wind? That was Delta's sneeze because he faced the model. You're kidding. This stuff is seriously happening in reality? I told you right off the bat. Why are you so calm? We can't carry this around with us or leave it anywhere. If we don't burn it and dispose of it, we'll all... If you did that, the Soleil would be engulfed by hellfire. Then we need to find a way to destroy the model before the effect can happen. It seemed like there were a few seconds in between doing something to the model and it happening in reality. That's impossible. It's true that there are a few seconds of lag before the effects appear in reality. However, that's just the time between the model sending a signal to the Soleil and causing it to happen. Any action done to the model is transmitted instantaneously, so there's no point in destroying it. What do you mean there's no point? This model causes trouble by just existing! Cass, you should tone down your voice. The shockwaves from your voice are hitting the Soleil. Seriously, what's the point of this thing? You're just putting the Soleil in more danger of being destroyed. My stomach's starting to hurt. Does that even have any kind of effect? Nope. Oh, thank goodness we can't use it in battle. Okay, floating city cathode. I'm gonna grab a drink while the cutscene plays. Even with those sunglasses on, you can still tell Delta really doesn't want to be doing the dance. I'm feeling nostalgic just looking at this. I'm sure. I felt that way quite a bit while building it. Then, is this really a Yumenotama? Yes, this is modeled after Yumenotama from Rossiella. I call it the Colonia cathode. Of course, I didn't just build it for purposes of nostalgia. I made its performance as high as possible. I think it would enhance weapons further than any other. I see. That's good, right, Delta? Delta, what's wrong? Cass, you said you feel nostalgic looking at this, right? I just figured I might have known about this Yumenotama place. In that case... Oh, right. Looks like I was right. I've been trying to think about it, but I can't remember a thing. I don't feel any nostalgia at all. Sorry, Delta. I wasn't thinking about your feelings. You don't need to apologize. My fault for forgetting about it. I might have forgotten about it, but just knowing that it should be a nostalgic place to me is enough. Really? Yeah, and even if it doesn't feel nostalgic, it's still pretty. When I'm not using it as a cathode, we should still enjoy looking at it. I can't guarantee any uses for it besides as a cathode, but I'm glad you think this is a memorable place. I'm glad you think that a memorable place like this is pretty. Yeah, thanks. I'll ask Cass sometime to tell me more about Yumenotama. Okay, so we only had those two. Let's see how good it is in terms of equipment. So, okay, damage enhancement 3. So do I have a regular damage enhancement 3? First enhancement 2 is on that one, but I already have... Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and replace this. And... I want a skill +1 on anything else. Damage enhancement, burst enhancement. No, I think I do want the damage enhancement over this. I can still break enemies pretty Pretty nicely. So that was the Heavenly Bird Dance. Yep. Alright. Okay, we'll get... I think we'll have the major event coming up after this one. Hey, Cass, do you wash your own clothes? Obviously, although I don't have any washing machines I'm used to at home, so it's not easy. Yeah, you wash my clothes too, huh? Because if I don't do it, then you'd be wearing the same dirty clothes every day, right? Wow, you know how to do laundry too, Cass? You're actually much more adept in chores from the house than I had originally thought. I would have loved to know exactly how you perceived me in the past, but why are you asking about laundry? Don't tell me the new recipe is somehow related to it. No, that's not it. I actually just realized I'm even worse at laundry than I am at cooking. That's a surprise. Not really. Sarly's pretty clumsy when it comes to these things. I hate to admit it, but it's true. But I do know how to operate a washing machine, and hanging the wet clothes outside is no big deal. It's just, when you're done washing the clothes, you have to hang them, right? Well, if you don't, you'll be left with a bunch of wrinkled clothes. That's the part I can't do. When I fold the clothes, I can't get the creases quite right, and after a few attempts, they're wrinkled. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, despite being clumsy, you're sort of a perfectionist. I don't see why it's such a big deal if they're slightly off. Not like you can see them once you wear them. It's important to compromise sometimes, too. Compromise? I suppose for someone not suited to romance, that might not be a bad idea. Here she goes again. How is laundry and romance connected? You don't follow? Once intimate with your partner, laundry can be equally, if not more important than cooking. Cleaning dirty clothes is that important? That's a symbolic gesture. Washing away the dirt of one day so it doesn't remain when starting the next one. And putting on nicely folded clothes is the key to devoting oneself to their job. If a woman wishes to be married, they must execute the task perfectly to support their husbands. Nonetheless, the moment I realized I wasn't capable of this, the idea of romance sounded even more ridiculous. I don't even know what you're getting at. I don't even know where you're getting these ideas anymore. I don't think guys care about as much as you think. Cass folds my clothes, but I don't check if they're perfect. See what I mean? No matter how hard I try, guys don't even have a clue. Yeah, perhaps I should start paying more attention starting today. Besides, Sarly, you don't strike me as a stay-at-home wife type, married or not. If and when that does happen, I think you two will both be working. You can share the chores with each other. That's blasphemy. Huh? Listen, Cass, men hate all types of chores and have a tendency to avoid them at all costs. Of course, in a double income situation, they'll help out of necessity, but what do you think will happen to the wife if she finds out she has no clue how to do any chores? Nothing? Yeah, it's not like you're messing around on purpose. No, it's not that simple. I can see the husband boiling with rage already, the spark to a war. And then, the next question becomes, do you live separately in the same house or get a divorce? At any rate, there's no promising future awaiting that couple. I can't say I've met anyone who thinks as negatively as you do. But when she makes her case, it's somehow difficult to disagree. Yeah, why is that? I guess romance and I are just not meant to be. Well, I wouldn't really overthink it if I were you. And we'll straight to the next one. Sighing again? Though I suppose I can already figure out what happened. What happened? Cooking. I was trying to grill fish, but it was surprisingly difficult. Before I knew it, I was staring at a pile of charcoal. I thought following the cookbooks would help you make something somewhat edible. Perhaps not with me. Snap out of it already. It's depressing watching you. How many more times do you have to insist you're not meant to fall in love, huh? Every reason you mentioned so far, while true to a degree, are all extreme examples. Try to imagine how we feel listening to one ridiculous claim after another. Cass, I get where you're coming from, but try to understand Sarly's point of view, too. I can do that! Once, maybe twice, but now I'm at my limit! Right now, you're just trying to find a convenient excuse to run away from love! What? You're afraid of actually falling in love, so you look for each and every excuse to weasel your way out! No! Cass, what you're suggesting is wrong. I'm not running away from anything. I think it's safe to say anyone would agree with me that you're running away right now. I'm not. To prove it, I've been testing my skills, to see how viable a steady relationship actually is. It's not like I'm giving up before I try, so how can you not consider this a fair attempt? If you think your tests are a good enough reason to give up, then I suggest you think again. In fact, it's not like I'm watching you create excuses to run away. It's too sad to think about. That's just a difference in perception. I'm conducting scientific tests to see if romance is possible. And you go accusing me of running away? I've had enough of this. Then tell me, how come you didn't give up the moment you realized you couldn't succeed at one thing? When you saw you couldn't cook worth a damn, you said romance wasn't for you, right? You should have had your answer already. And yet, here I find you trying to do the laundry, or cooking again? You keep on telling yourself it can't be done, yet on the flip side, try and try again. It's pathetic. With all your contradictions, the only conclusion I can draw is that you're actually running away. If I were in your shoes, you'd say the same to me. Enough. I get it. I've heard enough. Cass, you're right. I've obviously been contradicting myself, and it seems I've shown you a rather unpleasant side of me, so I apologize. There's no need for that. Yeah, you probably just had a lot on your mind and got a little worried. I mean, I'm totally okay with that. In fact, it's a little girly, and personally, I think it's appropriate. Delta, your perception of femininity is quite skewed. Remind me to correct it at some point. Anyway, now you understand, right? Don't say it's impossible for you to fall in love. Yeah, I won't. And don't think about it either, because all your conclusions are based on extreme examples. No, as far as that's concerned, I don't think I'm wrong. Perhaps I've contradicted myself. That I admit. But I don't think I'm wrong to feel romance is not for me. Are you serious? Yeah, I am. I truly believe I can't fall in love. That's why I don't want to talk about this anymore. My pride won't let me fall lower than I already have. Fine, be that way. Hey, you can't do anything that way. What? Sarly's made up her mind, obviously. There's nothing I can say to change it. If she really thinks she can't fall in love, who are we to say otherwise? Well, even so... Delta, I appreciate the effort, but don't waste your breath. It's for the best. I myself have accepted that romance is not for me, so I gave up. Further discussion would not solve anything. Yeah, it would be pointless. Delta, let's go home for today. Okay. Another long day's work. I'm so beat. Let's go rest, yeah? Hey, Cass, what's the matter? Delta, sorry, but could you get started without me? What's gotten into you? I think I forgot something. There, want me to come with? Let's go to sleep already, got it? Okay, but be careful, whatever it is you do. Continue searing on high until the surface begins to char, then add spices. I did everything right. Why isn't it working? Yeah, I'll save the cooking for later. I'll try my luck with presentation. I take the knife. If you don't want to lose a finger, I suggest you stop right there. Cass! Have you already forgotten your clumsiness? You could lose a finger trying to sculpt with a knife. What are you doing here at this hour? And where's Delta? Yeah, I left Delta behind. I'm sure he fell asleep, not even knowing I stepped out. I can't say I approve of a lady walking alone at night. What's wrong with you? I came to check up on you, obviously. I figured you'd be crying yourself to sleep right about now with a cookbook spread open. I thought I made myself clear. I'm giving up. I never thought you would, no matter how impossible it seemed to you. You're not the type to give up easily. How long do you think we've known each other, really? And so you saw through everything then. You caught me. It was a lucky guess. But from the looks of it, you're at your wit's end? Yeah, I think it's the first time in my life I've encountered a problem I can't solve. I knew I wasn't good at it, but I didn't think I would be this bad. I'll be honest, a part of me really does feel like this is the end. Sarly, you said you were good with machines, right? More accurately, information. But yes, and I guess this talent of yours left no room for housework left in that massive brain. So it would seem. Why do you think you can't fall in love unless you can master housework? I'm sure you have your logic, but you should know there are plenty of happy families, housework or not. So why are you ignoring that? I'm not ignoring anything. I gathered the information in my research on what romance is, and I remember clearly what I read. It's not uncommon for haphazard housework to be the cause for friction. As long as I'm going to fall in love, I don't want to fail. So, you want to say you've collected a lot of data, right? Could you tell me exactly where you obtained this information? Don't tell me you read some book. I did read a book titled Anyone Can Become a Good Housewife. But that's just not just it. I joined communities where married couples gather, and asked a lot of questions, too. Are you sure those people were married, and didn't just think they were? I suppose that's a possibility. You poor thing. And you took all the information you gathered there at face value? Of course, I exercised that possibility as well, but a lot of them have similar problems to what was described in the book, so it made me think. Even then, if you've seen these communities since Rossiella, surely you thought to doubt the information? But even before that, I think you're going to be to the wrong places for information. I know that, but I didn't know what else to do either. I was so happy after talking to you that I could once more find enjoyment from romance again, but I had no idea how to realize these feelings. I was worried. If this is about sheer talking, then you're really overthinking it. You have so many things in common. No, I don't want it to be just about that. So what if we can talk about our hobbies all night long? He's about the only person I can do that with. Yeah, and if we're talking about a G2 Tron, then maybe all night wouldn't even be enough. But that doesn't make us couple or lovers or partners, just two people with the same hobby. You don't like that? Well, of course I like it. No one else can keep up with what I want to talk about. But I'm a girl too, after all. Is it wrong to want to talk about things that make my heart race? Calm down for a sec. No one said you couldn't. I don't think it's wrong for you to feel that way. In fact, I'm amazed it took you this long. What I can't understand is how it turns you into thinking you can't fall in love if you can't do chores. I've already said this, but I'm truly a beginner when it comes to this sort of thing. So I thought if I forced myself to do things, I could begin to understand how it works. But you can see how far that's gotten me. I can tell that you've tried really, really hard, and the old you probably wouldn't force anything. I just wish you would talk to me before talking to those strangers. I wanted to, but But what? Right, well, I suppose that was expected. It's not like I didn't trust you. That much I want you to understand. It would be a problem if you trusted me too much, too. You really shouldn't overthink things, Sarly. There's no manual for love, and definitely no sure way to win. If there was, every couple would be the same, don't you think? Yeah, I guess you have a point. According to the information I've gathered, you and Delta don't fit any example. Well, as you can see, there are so many different shapes and forms of romance in this world. Even if it doesn't sound romantic, if there's a common topic you both can enjoy, I think it's better. There's no reason for you to try too hard when you're with Shirotaka. You're perfect just the way you are. You should cheer up. As hard as that might sound right now. As if it were that easy, we wouldn't be talking. Yeah, a part of me knows I'm overthinking this, but it's so hard to accept. I never imagined I would get so depressed over a few house chores. It's a difficult problem. Yeah, it is. So much that's painful. Almost unbearably so. Sarly. Please, help me. I don't know what else I can do. But I want to be confident, and know that I can fall in love, if the chance presented itself. So please, Cass, I want you to help me. That's a difficult problem to solve. Give Sarly, the girl who can't do chores, confidence for love? It doesn't have to be right this second, but if you think of anything, then I hope you would. If I think of something, I'll let you know. What, already? I keep telling you not to overthink things. This is actually a really simple problem. Now listen, you know the quickest way to a man's heart is the stomach, right? Yeah, but cooking is really not my thing. Just leave that up to me. No matter how bad you are at cooking, I've got the perfect recipe that cannot fail. Sunny side up? You don't need a recipe for that. This one uses knives in a pot. Don't worry. I'm sure you can make this one. Have you ever made it before, Cass? Yes, I make it all the time. Which is exactly why I can say with confidence this is really easy to make well. Do you want to give it a shot? I'll buy a lot of ingredients just so we can practice. Let's start right away. Perfect. I'll make the preparations. Yeah, say Cass. Thank you. Really. Now that you thank me, I really can't fail, can I? Cass, you never came back last night. Are you okay? Better go check in on her.